Hello and welcome to a Key Smash Studios tutorial. Today we're going to talk about animations and making your game feel more immersive and interactable. So let's get started. I've prepared a general scene with 3 objects we're going to animate. The first thing we're going to animate is this saw over here. Then we're going to animate some floating bullets, and finally we're going to animate an enemy. The reason I picked these 3 is there are 3 different types of animations, but they're all fairly simple, and all 3 of them will add immersion and interactability with your game. We're going to open up the window for our animation. That's either Control 6 and it pops up this animation screen, or you can come up here on Window, go to Animation, and select the animation window. When you have the item selected that you want to animate, you'll be prompted with this button, say to begin animating Saw 1, create an animation and an animated clip. So we're going to do that in our asset. We're going to create an animation called Saw_1. We're prompted with this window. For this first animation, it's going to be fairly simple. What we want this saw to do is to rotate and look like it's dangerous to step on. So we're just going to hit record here. Then on our object in the scene, we're going to select our rotation, that's E, or you can come up here and select this, and we're just going to start spinning the saw. You'll notice that the keyframe immediately pops up, so it recognizes, hey, they're about to start spinning. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out to about 2 seconds. I'm doing this by scrolling in and out on this timeline. We're going to go out to about 2 seconds with this record button still on. And I'm just going to rotate this a few times. You'll notice that a new key is stored the rotation information out here at 2 seconds. And if we take off record and hit play, we'll see that the saw itself starts spinning. We can change the sample rate to change the speed of this spinning. The smaller it is, the slower it spins. We might want something like 25 or 30. But we can jump all the way up to 120 frames a second, and it's spinning really fast, and the player knows, hey, let's not go near it. So now, on this animation, we can find it in our asset list. We have a loop time and a cycle offset. If we want it for the saw, we want it to loop all the time. Let's go on to our second animation. Here we have ammo. And typically, in 2D platformers, you usually see a pickup sort of bob or something like that. So we're going to create an animation for that. So again, we're going to open up our animation window and create a clip for it. And again, we're going to hit the record button. We're going to move our object up and down for its first keyframe to be stored. We're changing the position of this ammo. Then we're going to go out to 1 second. And we're just going to move it up just a little bit. Then we're going to scroll back here to 0 seconds, and we're going to look at the Y value here. So this is negative 1.807. As it goes up, it goes to negative 1.4, but we want it to return back to where it started. So at 2 seconds, we're going to copy the position here. So we want this negative 1.807. At 2 seconds, we're just going to come here, and we're going to paste this here. So we have the exact same height and width. And we can see that over the course of our animation, this bullet sort of hovers in place and bobs up and down. And this is a pretty common signifier to the player that this is a collectible that they can then go achieve. The last animation type that we're going to do is sort of a way of tricking a player into thinking you actually have AI, when in reality you have a sprite that's just following a pattern. So what we're going to do is, just like before, we're going to open an animation, and we're going to create enemy 1, an animation. Just like before, we're going to move it just a little bit to get this first keystone in. Then we're going to come out here to 2 seconds, and we're going to move him down near the bullets, which is where the end of his patrol is going to be, at which point he's going to turn around. But we can hit play and look at the speed of this. So I think that's pretty decent for speed. The player has plenty of time to jump over or something like that. That is pretty standard in a platformer. So after the 2 second, let's say halfway to 230, we're going to have this sprite turn around. And the way we're going to do that is just going to move him just a little bit, like that. And you'll notice that the scale itself is changed. We can either do that with scale, or we can come to rotation, grab this green line, and rotate him 180 degrees. That's probably the cleaner way to do it. Now he's rotated 180 degrees. He's in the same spot, so... But here's the issue. When you come here, we want this keyframe for rotation to be almost instantaneous. So you can see I have two keyframes right next to each other. And it's so fast that you really can't see it with the human eye. So what we're going to do now is move down back to the start, and we're going to animate him patrolling back. So we're still in record, we patrol back, and this is all we need to do, because when this animation loops, it'll start back over and it'll instantly apply the rotation again. So he'll flip right back around to where he was supposed to. So now we have an enemy that comes down, rotates, turns around, comes back, and when the animation loops again, it rotates back to its original starting position and repeats it. So if I hit play, we'll see that he comes down, flips, comes back, flips, comes down, flips, comes back. And this is a simple way to use animation to sort of fool the player into thinking you actually have some type of AI there. AI can sometimes be really scary to code, and people don't feel like they're up to it. I would suggest it's not that bad, but if you don't feel like doing AI, this is a really good way of adding some enemy interactivity into your game, something for your player to avoid, so on and so forth. What we'll do now is we'll close out this window and we'll hit play. We can see that our two static animations are happening here. We have the rotation of our saw, the bobbing of the ammunition to simulate a pickup, and we have our enemy moving back and forth in our game, and he looks like a pretty standard enemy. I hope this has helped. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. Like, comment, subscribe, join our Discord. It's a link in the description below. It really does help us out, and we'll see you next week.